I hate the word and cliche work-life balance. There is no balance.
Yeah.
There's no like.
Well, I think there is balance. It's just different for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't look the same for each person.
People are going to buy from you because they know, like, and trust you. Not me, not my brand, but because of you.
Well, and it goes both ways too, right? It's really hard to support somebody in that way when they don't support you in that way. It goes.
It's very mutual. You know,
and if it doesn't work, you have to get divorced.
Yes. And it's the same with a business partner. And we've gotten divorced from a few partners.
They taught us to not hire people you like, but to hire people that like are qualified. And the more I have learned about business, it's the opposite of that.
I'm here sharing inspiring stories about fearless entrepreneurial women to help encourage you to live your life unapologetically. I'm your host, Heather Blankenship. Welcome to the Unapologetically Me podcast.
On today's episode, I'm talking with Destiny Rowell, and we are diving into how she started a coffee truck and built it into a franchise that has over 20 locations now and growing. She also had her first baby at 21, who's now a 17-year-old young man, and she's actually 6 months pregnant with her next child. So we're talking about the differences in the age gap and being a mom and later in life. So we got a lot of things to talk about. Let's dive in. Destiny, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So we are in beautiful Panhandle of Florida,
Yes,
30A.
30A. You can't get better than this.
I agree with that. It's one of my favorite spots. And you're here this week talking to my mastermind girls about building your coffee franchise. Yeah. And a lot of people think about, oh, I would love to have a coffee truck. Like the number of times I've heard that, I can't imagine how many times you've heard it. I'm like, okay, a lot of people say that, and maybe they get 2 or 3 coffee trucks, right? They think of expanding to that. But then moving into, I'm going to franchise this out and have other people do this. How did you make that leap from, I got a coffee truck, maybe I want multiple locations, or maybe I switched to brick and mortar? Those are kind of some natural progressions. But you went even further.
Yeah, we kind of went all in.
You did.
And I wish my story would have been like very glamorous, like a storybook, like, oh, I've always dreamed of opening up a coffee shop and my dreams come true and I got to market and brand it. I didn't even drink or make coffee when we started this adventure, which is crazy because a lot of times we kind of go into something with a leg up. Like we might know a little bit about this industry and or we have a passion for it.
At least you're a customer of it, right?
Yes.
You know what it's supposed to taste like.
Yeah, I kind of did it backwards, but it was a beautiful place to start, I think, because we were able to look at it more from a business aspect than a passion. And you know as well as I do that a lot of us, sometimes we have passion projects and we become employees versus, business owners. And we get stuck. And so it was really neat to have that mindset going into this industry because from the get-go, we never picture ourselves working in it. So that brings us to systems. We knew that we had to create some kind of system for someone else to do this. Yeah, we had to learn it and figure it out along the way, but we knew we had to build something so someone else could take this and work it so we can kind of look up at a bird's eye view and see, okay, if we are onto something, how can we scale it? Or if we're not, at least we're up here and we can say, okay, we need to burn this boat now before we get too deep into it.
So you start building the systems, you got the coffee truck. How do we still get to it's going to be a franchise?
Okay, so with any good, I think, brand or business, there's always a storyline behind it. And so with my background in marketing and branding, and even before that, I was a photographer. And that should tell you a little bit about me and a connection with storytelling. I love capturing moments. They just last way beyond, the moment. And so I've always had this beautiful connection with storytelling. And so when we decided to do this, I said, if it's going to succeed, I might not can make good coffee, but I could sell it. I can make it look good. I can make someone want to buy something. I love the psychology behind that. So we told a story that our small town could connect with. And then believe it or not, all of our big box chains, they're going to go to all these big glamorous cities, but these rural areas, we like bougie coffee too. And so there's a whole niche of people who want coffee in a smaller town. And we realized that there's a lot of people who connected with us and our story. And so it just kind of took off from there. Someone else from another town seen what we're doing in a small town and said, hey, can we pick your brain? And we're like, sure. By the end of the conversation, because that person was so kind of aligned with who Eric and I are too, we were like, maybe we should open up another Grit and Grind. And we wasn't hesitant because we had some systems. We had a few ranky systems that needed a little bit, of help, but we were kind of prepared already. And really, we're very risk averse. We're like, okay, if we take this chance, what's the worst that can happen? And so we took a chance, and it kind of didn't go down. It kind of went up.
So I'm curious the way you worded that, because it's right. A lot of people, they're like, I need something in Atlanta. I need something in New York City. It's got to be in Miami, right? They think of these big cities. Mm-hmm. Big cities bring big competition.
Absolutely.
So when you're looking at these smaller towns, and small is relative, right? As you're looking at these smaller towns, how do you decide, will this market work for this? Can this city support a cute coffee shop?
Mm-hmm. So typically we look at our competitors. We go in and see, okay, what does this market have? If it has a really neat double drive-through that's just for fast-paced mamas, we know that town's missing some kind of intimate connection. They need a sit-down coffee shop. So we go and fill that need. Or if that small town has that beautiful sit-down staple piece coffee shop on the square, but we need something fast-paced for those mamas on the go, we're going to come in and do a double drive-through. So the way we have our business is it's very flexible depending on the community and its needs. So we look at that first. Second is going to be the person. We're very, very picky about who we partner with, because other than my husband, we haven't really partnered with anyone before our franchise. And we learned really fast that, man, it's pretty much like a marriage. Like, you've got to have those hard conversations. You've got to be willing to cut ties whenever.
And if it doesn't work, you have to get divorced.
Yes. And it's the same with a business partner. And we've gotten divorced from a few partners. And, it always works out. You can always pull a learning lesson from that. But people is the biggest thing, because I can go into any market, but I can't go into your hometown and try and sell my brand, but you can. You know the people. They know you. People are going to buy from you because they know, like, and trust you. Not me, not my brand, but because of you. And so when we realized that we have to find people, the places will come, that's when everything kind of started working in sync.
So would you go into a market that didn't have a coffee shop already?
Yeah. So that's where our first coffee shop was. We never had a coffee shop in our little town of Opp, Alabama. We were like, well, but why? We questioned everything. We did some research, and we realized that no one ever did it right. Like, they come in here with a passion. They price according to some gas station coffee. They never had priced out their COGS and actually ran a business. So if they did open up something, it closed really quickly. And so we knew the need was there, and we just made everything else work. Traffic count is another big one we take into consideration. In these small towns, typically traffic counts, of course, are going to be way lower than Atlanta. But we have an industry conversion rate. We can get nerdy and talk about that. But
I would love to hear it. I would love it, because
Okay.
I see some of these smaller towns, and you're
Yes.
like, you can't even get coffee here. And I'm curious how you're determining, is it worth the
Yes.
time, the effort, the money that goes into
Yeah,
to
so
try something
even
there?
if we back up and someone comes to us, and even if it's a personality fit and the community needs it, but realistically the numbers, my husband's very analytic, and I can nerd out every now and then on it, but industry standards for conversion rate for coffee shop is going to be 2 to 5%. And so just for even numbers, let's say 100 people pass your coffee shop a day. We'll do worst case scenario, 2%.
And does this change if you're in a college town or a vacation town or a regular city or near a XYZ?
It does, and it depends if maybe you're in a strip mall and you've got walking traffic for common, like a boutique or nail salon, that you're going to share customers. And I think that's why the industry standards give us such a broad range, because 2 to 5 is kind of wide. And so worst case scenario, sometimes we will do the numbers at 1.5%, 2%. We never go to 5, just so we can actually see what's kind of tangible. But of course, we have shops open now. We could reverse engineer it. Most of our shops are at the 3.5. Some of our shops are even at 6% conversion rate, which is amazing. It's over industry standards. And so, but it's neat to have those metrics, because then we get how many of those customers that are passing are going to walk into our coffee shop. How many tickets are we going to sell? And then our average ticket price. We take those numbers, multiply it, and then we can get our average cost per day.
How many cups of coffee do you need to sell to break even?
Oh, gosh.
A day.
A
You
day?
have it broken down by the day?
I do not. I'm trying to think about my numbers. Labor cost is about 30%, industry standard. COGS are supposed to be 30%. Ours is way lower because we're awesome.
Of course.
Yeah, and so that leaves about 30% profit. So I would say, I mean, you would have to sell about 100 tickets a day. Yeah.
And are you doing just coffee or doing food and all of the cute things, or we're strictly coffee?
So some of our locations are strictly coffee. We have some grab and go muffins that we kind of, get from local bakers, or bagels. But other than that, a lot of our locations that ticket price is strictly just based off coffee, which we love. Now, some of our bigger brick and mortars that stay open till later in the afternoon, they do have breakfast sandwiches. They even have some lunch menus. And again, it goes back to, what are the needs that we can fill in that community? What are the people at community saying they need or want? And it is a hard balance because you can't listen to everybody. That's so hard. Our owners are like, one customer came in and suggested this. I was like, okay, just one? And she's like, yeah. I was like, well, we're not changing this entire process just for Sally. Sally can go open a coffee shop and get some, get whatever she needs. But it is a hard balance to listen to what consumers need and then what just makes sense for profit too.
Yeah, I can see that.
Listen, y'all, I know today's episode is inspiring, but inspiration alone will never carry us to our ultimate goals. That's why I started the Society of Entrepreneurial Women. It's a mastermind for high-performing female investors and entrepreneurs who are living their lives unapologetically. In a world where most people don't get us, or they try to keep us confined in a small box, the Society exists to turn off the brakes and set you free. We have weekly calls covering investing, wealth building, health, relationships, family, and a whole lot more. We have small tribes to hold each other accountable to our goals. We have in-person, ladies-only retreats to disconnect and drive each other towards our dreams. And most importantly, this is a community where you can be unapologetically you. Celebrate your wins, scream your successes from the top of the rooftop, become best friends with women who get you. We're 3 years in, and I can honestly say my best friends today are all from the Society. Click the link in the show notes to learn more.
So changing gears a little bit, you've been married for going on 20 years.
Gosh, yes.
You met your husband when you were barely a teenager.
Yeah.
And you had your first baby shortly after that. Your son's 17.
Yep.
But now you're 6 months pregnant.
Yes, that's a big age
Having
gap.
another one with a huge age gap.
I love it.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fabulous. Really, I'm a completely different woman now sitting in front of you at 38 than I was when I was 21. And so it really is a completely different experience. Braden, my son, pretty much raised me in a way. And then Eric and I, we raised each other, Can you imagine think about the stages of life.
Yeah.
You're 15, you're 18, 21, like all these big milestones where we're really changing in the inside too, hormones and everything. But then that's a lot of personalities.
It is.
I was like, I think you married me like 4 times. You probably divorced me like 8.
We're recommitting. We're recommitting. And it's true. I think a lot of people that get married young, it's like a blessing and a curse, depending on the personalities, because you have to be able to grow together.
And it's hard.
And if you don't, you become 2 very different people that don't really match anymore. How do you think you've lasted that through all those phases?
Yeah, and I think it's a big thing is understanding where each other are in that kind of journey as well. And a lot of times you have to look at your partner. They're just like friends too. You're not always going to like them. You're not always going to agree with them. But if you can have that common ground where you can empathize and be like, okay, where's he coming from? When Eric worked a 9 to 5, he had a very stressful job. He'd come in, and most wives are like, we've been at home all day with the kids. Maybe we want to talk and vent, but it was being selfless a lot too on both parties. Like I could tell where he would be tired but pick up some slack or bring Braden to and from football. And there's sometimes where he walked in that I could just read on him like, I just had a hard day, and I would just give him space. Me and Braden would go make up something to do just to give him some downtime. I think it's just being aware of your surroundings, and a lot of time that comes with experience, with age, because younger, we would focus so much on like, oh, what did I do wrong? Like, why isn't he talking to me? Like, it's always about us. But as you get older, you realize it's not always about us. Like, and I'm so at peace with who I am that even if he is pissed and he wants to take it out on me, like, let it go, dude. Like, we're going to be all right at the end of the day. But I'm so at peace with who I am. I'm like, whatever's causing a little friction or whatever he might have had a bad day, it has nothing to do with me. A lot of times we overthink a lot of those situations.
Well, so my grandmother's a psychologist, and I can remember her always saying, you can't let someone else's emotions control yours.
Yep.
And it's an easy thing to say, but it's not quite as easy of a thing to implement, especially if you're not that confident in yourself. So I think you worded that really well with being secure in yourself. And a lot of people are not, I'm sure we could like clip this up and it would go viral when you're like saying, bring it to me, I'm ready for it, you had a bad day, I'm here for that.
Yep.
But when we look at it, our spouses are human too. And we can think of, if you think back to when was the last time I had a bad day and I wasn't in the best mood, right? Or like maybe it already happened today. That is part of supporting each other through all of those different moments and seasons and days and tough situations. And I don't know that a lot of people say that out loud.
Yeah, and it's hard, but I love that you pointed on the confidence thing. It really does take confidence in knowing who you are, in that season of life, and it changes every
Well, and
season.
it goes both ways too, right? It's really hard to support somebody in that way when they don't support you in that way.
It's very mutual, yeah, because you can have, and we've had seasons of life where, like, we've had to have, where it almost didn't work. Like, it was a struggle. And so my husband dealt with addiction for probably 5 years out of the almost 20 years. And that was a huge disconnect, physically and mentally. We were down here on earth and he was somewhere else. And so that was a massive commitment to, be willing to know, like, hey, this is going to be tough for the next couple of years. And I was almost selfless, and sometimes I was too selfless, almost an enabler. But I believe that we got through that, and man, to look at it now, a lot of the decisions that we make and who I am as far as that confidence and that peace came and derived from that struggle.
Yeah, and gosh, trying to figure out in those situations when you stay, when you go, when you support.
And then you have children.
You have kids watching what's going on.
It was not easy for sure.
How'd you decide that?
I think that we just tolerated it so long, and we were in denial for a few of those years. And towards the end, it could have lasted probably another 5 years if I would have continued to enable, but finally we all get to the end of the rope. And even though we try our best to make something work or get someone help, they have to want it for themselves. So at that point, I just kind of started isolating, started taking care of me, started building that inner peace and confidence and doing things that I knew that was going to build my future and not always rely on him. He sensed that. And I think he got tired of his own crap. And I think that is what kind of propelled him. As soon as I quit being an enabler and was like, this is you, he got sober.
That's great. Mm-hmm. And imagine like how far you've come.
Oh, it's insane.
The changes. How many years ago was that?
That was 10 years he's been sober. Going on 11. October will make 11.
That's huge.
Yep.
That's awesome.
It is. It's pretty wild.
Ladies, it's time to redefine the conference experience with the Society of Entrepreneurial Women Retreats. Step inside a world tailored for women just like you, where you can lead, learn, and unwind in style. Our retreats offer everything from insightful investing sessions to fun activities like salsa dancing, boat cruises, food tours, and so much more, ensuring you come back not just inspired, but truly refreshed. Join a community that celebrates you wholly and supports your every endeavor. Ready for a retreat that changes the game? Visit the link in our show notes and find out how you can be part of this exclusive experience.
So if we get back to talking about this new baby,
Yes.
do you know if you're having a boy or girl?
We're having a little girl.
Aww.
Yeah, so we got the best of both worlds. I always picture myself as a boy mom. I've always been
Really?
like the one girl in the friend group. And then I had Brayden, and all his friends are over. And I even called, like, our first ultrasound. I was like, oh, look at him. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, but no, our world is about to be rocked.
I love that. Okay, so I know that people always say that boys are so much easier. I have 4 girls. Mm-hmm. My boy is not so much easier.
No, mine is bougie. Very high maintenance. Like, I'm talking like if we go out of town, he wants a bath bomb and a blanket. Like, most boys want, like, baseballs or, like, jerseys. No, we'll go on into Lush and getting a bath bomb.
That's so funny. And so I don't think that boys are easier. I don't know where that reputation came from,
Yeah.
But it is definitely a lot true in our household. So.
Yeah, I can relate for sure.
So what are your plans with your business? Because you've been pretty heavily involved. You're getting ready to be a new mom again.
I know. So we are ramping up the team, creating even more systems and processes, knowing and preparing our team that we are fixing to exit, and that, everyone needs to be able to be prepared to step up. If there's anything that they need, if we need to do more hires for assistants under our director team, and it's really preparing, them, because we have a pretty good, a lot of times we overthink it, and as high functioning people, I think we always want to make things better, but sometimes if we just sit back, we're like, we have a pretty chill system. Like if we can just make it, if it can get us by the next, 6-8 months while we get this new transition in life and sis comes, then I think we're going to be okay.
It'll be interesting to see how you do, because I feel like I'm a couple years older than you,
Yeah.
and I have moments where I'm like, man, I would like to just be a stay-at-home mom and make some sourdough bread and have some chickens. And then I'm like, it's been like 24 hours since I've had a work call, and I'm kind of bored.
Too boss babe for this, right?
So it's a weird balance, and I think as your hormones change with each baby, you have different thoughts and emotions towards that.
Oh, yeah.
So you weren't a businesswoman when you had your first.
I owned a photography business, so I was pretty entrepreneurial mindset. I have a problem with authority.
Okay, so you've always been that way.
I have always been.
So maybe it won't be that different.
I don't think so. I think I've always been, like, Brayden would always come with me to photo shoots. I'd let him go run in the yard while I'm out there doing photos, and I've always kind of been able to multitask and have a good, I hate the word in cliche, work-life balance. There is no balance.
Yeah.
There's no like.
Well, I think there is balance. It's just different for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't look the same for each person.
Yeah.
And it maybe doesn't even look the same for you each day.
No, and that's it. It's like, it's not a 50-50 balance. It's not a
Yeah.
teeter-totter scale. It's like, okay, can you balance it over here? Can your mama cat be on and make all the fruit snacks in the world? Or can you be able to flip that script and take those calls or meet those clients and be okay with, okay, it's cereal night tonight. It's not going to be homemade dinner.
Sourdough bread.
Yes.
And we've gotten the eggs from the chickens outside.
Yeah. So I think that's the balance that I've always tried to strive for.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see how it continues on for you.
We're going to have a game plan, a perfectly SOP checklist, and then she's going to come and just wipe it all out the park.
Yeah, we were talking about before we started recording. You never know what kind of baby you're going to have.
Yeah.
So is it the chill baby we can strap on and take with us everywhere, or is she? I have one who's climbing everything and has been from the beginning. She can't even sleep in a crib because she's climbing out.
Yeah.
And you just never know.
That's going to be my luck.
That one is a little more difficult to work with. It doesn't mean you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
You've gone through a lot of stuff in the last 20 years.
Yeah, for sure.
I love
We're
that.
good at pivoting.
Speaking of pivoting, anything you're excited about you're working on besides this baby right now?
Man, she is she's kind of our main focus right now. She is our workflow. We are trying to get everything prepared for her, not just in home and, nesting mode, but like systems to make sure that our life works with this and that we don't have to change too much, because we've created a life that we absolutely love. Like, people love going on vacations. I get to vacations and I can't wait to go home. Like, we've just created this life that we just have everything, our routine and security and, our game plan for the day, and we really love that. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to be able to mesh, and be able to pivot with her coming in the mix. So that's the game plan.
You were talking about your extra team members that you're hiring on and moving around and giving extra responsibilities to for this phase. Talk me through your hiring process. I know we heard a speaker yesterday talk about how she does hiring. I'm curious, when you're doing this on a level that some of them are your team members, some of them are team members to partners, and you're helping with the training and the process. Talk me through how you're hiring for some of those roles.
Yeah, our culture is everything, because at the end of the day, what we serve, if you look at our franchise corporate team, the very last end goal is a customer and even our owner experience. And so anyone could have the best franchise systems, anyone could have the best cup of coffee, but you're really gonna sign your name to a piece of paper, or you're really gonna go give your money to a coffee shop because of your experience. How did they treat you? How did you feel when you left? And so even with our HQ team, we focus so hard on our team and the culture. So anyone who comes in, it's an extensive vetting process. Before they even get to Eric and I, our assistants are doing Zoom calls. We have Just like you have a ideal customer avatar, we have an ideal employee avatar.
Talk me through that. I would love to hear that.
So, I mean, we name him/her. They have an age gap in there, age range. Of course, legally there's things that you can't really do in some states, as far as discrimination, and we don't discriminate. But the real meat and potatoes is the red flags that we look for in the conversations, even green flags. We have a real cool questionnaire that will implement conversations, and we can kind of direct and see where that conversation is going to go.
Talk me through those red and green flags. I'd love to hear it.
So a lot of things, the biggest thing is like, what do you do in your free time? If you're like, oh, I just love to sit and scroll, like, you're probably not going to be.
Do people say that?
You'd be surprised. Well, I don't really have no hobbies. That's one. I like to just hang out with my friends, which is awesome. But we want people who are goal oriented, because I can't help you go make more friends and hang out with your friends more time, because I'm taking time away from you.
Right.
I want to figure out how I can help you as a business owner achieve not only business goals with my company, but like external. Like maybe you love running on the side, and my crazy goal in 5 years is to run a marathon. Guess what? We have a run club. I can help you, and I can keep you accountable on that personal side. So I get so much from just that simple. What do you do in your free time? What are your hobbies? And then we do a lot of problem solving questions. We put them in kind of like, if you got hit with a sticky situation and you were in the middle of a rush and you seen a customer was not happy, how would you react to that? And so just getting that feedback from how they would answer it tells us so much about. Personality is awesome. Soft skills, I can't really teach that stuff. I can teach you how to make coffee, or I could teach you how to read an SOP. But if we can't sit in a cubicle, if we get stuck together for 40 hours 1 week, if we can't all sit together, this isn't going to work.
It's so interesting you say that. And I've said this on a couple episodes, but back when I went to college and I got a business degree, and they taught us to not hire people you like, but to hire people that like are qualified. And the more I have learned about business, it's the opposite of that.
So the opposite.
Because you can teach them a lot of things, but you can't like teach them for you to like being around them, and vice versa. If they don't like being around you, right? It's not going to work. And I know my personality, I start avoiding them.
Yes, at all costs.
At all costs, and then you're like wasting man hours, and like it just becomes this like perfect storm of things that don't work out and cost you lots of time and money, and then it's bad
on them. You're holding them. And when I had the realization that like whenever I keep someone that I'm just trying to find a job for, I'm keeping them from their calling and gift that they can really be helping someone else. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm releasing you to go follow you versus maybe like, it's not working.
Yeah, I agree. So on the flip side, when you're looking for franchisees, franchise, is that how you say it? So what are a couple of your questions? If someone comes to you and they're like, Destiny, I really want a coffee business. Is this something we could do together?
Yeah. So we try and avoid the people who are like, I've always wanted to open up a coffee shop, because we're like, oh gosh.
Because they have 1,000 ideas of how they want it to go.
And we're like, we don't need your ideas. Guess what? We got them all for you. I just need someone to follow my playbook. And so we really love people who are looking to plug into their community. We're very, very community oriented. And so again, it's a soft skill thing. If you're not willing to go into your community and get uncomfortable and tell people about your coffee shop that you're fixing to open, no one's going to come to your coffee shop. I can give you every marketing plan in the entire world, but if you don't go get boots on the ground and rub shoulders and elbows with people in your community, it's going to be hard for them to want to come and hang out with you, or invest into your coffee shop or buy stuff from you. And so it's a lot of dating, we call it. It's a dating phase. We'll do some Zoom meetings. Our sales team will do it with that. And then by the time they get to Eric and I, we go to dinner. They come down. They usually come to our shops. We give them the tour. But really, it's like, can we hang out? Can we go do a road trip? Can we do a 12-hour road trip together and be okay? Like, that should be the qualifying thing. And so it's dinner, lunch. They get to pick our brain. But you can tell so much from someone by just sitting down and having a conversation. Their body language, their answers to organic questions, if they bring their kids or not. We love that. We love to see how they interact. Usually Braden's with us too, because he's 17. We want to start showing him the process of vetting people or connecting and networking. It's super important to us.
Is he interested in the coffee business?
He is. We're just trying to get through 11th grade math right now. That is
Man, I feel that.
that is
The math is the hardest for us.
struggle. And so even with someone like his mindset, he's very entrepreneurial. He doesn't want anything to do with coffee right now, but I know he sees what we're
Sees the
growing.
potential.
And so we just got to figure out how to fit him into that. He comes into the shop, he gets out of school at 1:30, he helps the girls. His one task on the board is, Brayden, take out the trash. Other than that, I think he just kind of creates the culture and hangs out with them, but at least he's in there kind of getting some reps in, seeing how it flows. So that's important to us. But yeah, he can pull a shot. He can definitely pull you an espresso shot and make a pretty good coffee. He knows how to do that.
I love that. Well, thanks for doing this with me today,
Yeah.
Jessica.
Oh no, it was super fun.
Been nice chatting with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Remember, authenticity is your superpower. Stay unapologetically yourself, and let's continue embracing our uniqueness together. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss the next episode.